It's 1:13 a.m. You have to be up in 5 hours and 47 minutes. You know this. You've done the math. You've been doing the math for the last hour and a half while watching videos about deep-sea fish that you will absolutely never think about again. And yet the thumb moves. This isn't a willpower problem. That's the thing nobody tells you. We treat late-night scrolling like a character flaw. Like if you just cared enough about tomorrow, you'd put the phone down. But the people who built what's in your hand knew you wouldn't. They counted on it, and they designed for it. This isn't you failing. This is you losing a fight you didn't know was happening. Here's the first thing you need to know. In 2014, Charles Czeisler's sleep lab at Harvard ran a study comparing people who read physical books before bed against people reading on light-emitting screens. Same books, same amount of time. The screen readers took nearly twice as long to fall asleep, produced 55% less melatonin, and this is the part that got me, reported feeling less rested even when they got the same total hours of sleep. Same sleep, less rest. The phone doesn't just delay sleep, it corrupts it. But that's the blue light part, and blue light is actually the least interesting thing going on. Because here's the question nobody asks. Why can't you stop even when you want to? You've made the deal. One more video, then sleep. You've made it dozens of times, and every single time, your brain just doesn't comply. What is that? Is it addiction? Is it something else? And here's the one that should genuinely unsettle you. Did someone build it this way on purpose?
Forget everything you think you know about dopamine. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical. That's the shorthand that gets repeated everywhere, and it's wrong in a way that actually matters. Neuroscientist Kent Berridge at the University of Michigan spent years separating the brain's wanting system from its liking system, and what he found was that they're completely different circuits. You can want something desperately and feel nothing once you have it. You can like something and feel no urge to seek it again. The feed exploits the wanting circuit, not the liking one, which is why you can scroll for an hour and feel vaguely empty the whole time and still not stop. Here's what the feed is actually built on. In the 1930s, B.F. Skinner ran an experiment with pigeons. He gave them a button. Sometimes it released food, sometimes nothing. And what he found changed behavioral psychology. Unpredictable rewards caused more compulsive pressing than consistent ones. The pigeon that got food every time eventually stopped. The pigeon that never knew couldn't stop. Every feed you've ever used runs on this exact mechanic. Not because someone read Skinner and got ideas, because they tested it on you, measured your behavior in real time, and the data told them it worked. The slot machine comparison isn't a metaphor. It's the actual design document. Most explainers stop here. Variable rewards, dopamine, put your phone down. That's technically accurate. It's also incomplete, because this mechanic works on you during the day too. So why is midnight so much harder? That's the real question. And the answer involves something the wellness industry doesn't want to acknowledge. You're not fighting the algorithm at full strength. You're fighting it with half a brain. There's a region of your brain called the prefrontal cortex, the executive function center. It's the part that weighs consequences, overrides impulses, and reminds you that tomorrow is going to be bad. Neuroscientists have shown it becomes measurably less active as the evening progresses. By 11 p.m., the version of you that's supposed to say, put it down, is running on maybe 60%. So when the app deploys its full mechanism against you at midnight, it isn't getting the real you. It's getting the tired, cognitively impaired version of you. On purpose, at the time when that version of you is most available. Which raises a question. If the people who designed this knew all of it, and some of them have said on the record that they did, what exactly is the thing in your hand?
In 2017, Sean Parker, the founding president of Facebook, gave an interview and said something that should have been front-page news. He described how in the early days, the people building social platforms were explicitly asking, how do we consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible? His words, not a critic's.
The solution they landed on was a small dopamine hit every time someone liked or commented on your post. And Parker said, again in his own words, that they knew they were exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology. He wasn't confessing from the outside. He was describing the design meeting. Ozzy Raskin invented Infinite Scroll in 2006. He was 20 years old. He built it in a weekend. The idea was simple. Remove the natural break. No next page click, no friction, no stopping point. Just continuation. He later estimated it costs humanity around 200,000 hours of attention every single day. He spent years trying to undo it. Think about that for a second. The person who built the thing that's keeping you up right now has been trying to take it back and couldn't.
Here's what the recommendation algorithm is actually optimizing for, and it's not what most people assume. It's not trying to show you things you'll enjoy. Enjoyment and engagement are not the same metric. The algorithm optimizes for watch time, and the content that holds watch time longest isn't calming or satisfying, it's activating, surprising, slightly off. The kind of content that puts your nervous system in a state where sleep feels impossible, which, of course, keeps you scrolling. The algorithm has no values. It just ran trillions of experiments on human attention and found what worked. And what works, it turns out, is making you too alert to stop. And your body at night is already primed for this. Sleep researchers call it the hyperarousal response, a low-grade wakefulness state where your brain is slightly too alert for sleep and actively seeking stimulation. The phone provides it. The stimulation raises arousal further, which makes sleep harder, which makes you reach for the phone again. The loop is closed, and it closes tighter the later you stay up. The design and the biology are not working against each other. They're working together on you.
The cost of this isn't just feeling tired. In 2019, UC Berkeley researchers found that sleeping fewer than 6 hours amplifies emotional reactivity by up to 60%. The amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, becomes hyperactive, and the prefrontal cortex, which is supposed to regulate it, loses its grip. You don't wake up just tired. You wake up angrier, more anxious, more likely to read a normal interaction as a threat, less able to see someone else's point of view, less able to override your own worst instincts. That's one bad night. Now consider that for millions of people, this isn't occasional. This is Tuesday. The scale of this is genuinely hard to sit with. The CDC found that nearly 70% of US high schoolers get less than the recommended 8 hours on school nights. For adults, roughly 35% are chronically short on sleep, defined as less than 7 hours. But here's what makes those numbers different from typical health statistics. This isn't random. It's concentrated in the hours between 10 p.m. and 2 p.m. It follows the same behavioral pattern across millions of people, and it correlates directly with the adoption of feeds, infinite scroll, and algorithmic recommendations. This isn't a coincidence. It's a product outcome.
In 2021, internal meta documents, the Facebook papers, were leaked. They showed that researchers inside the company had identified specific harms their platform was causing. So when you're lying there at 1 a.m. negotiating with yourself over one more video, you're not losing a battle of willpower. You're caught in a system that was built, tested, and refined specifically to catch you at this moment, in this state, when your defenses are lowest. That's what you're actually up against.
So, is it happening on purpose? Parts of it, yes. The biology was always there. Blue light sensitivity isn't invented. Your prefrontal cortex degrades with fatigue regardless of who built your apps. But the infinite scroll, the variable reward timing, the friction removal, those were choices made by specific people in specific rooms who understood exactly what they were building. Ozzy Raskin was 20, building a weekend project. He didn't know, but the companies that inherited his idea absolutely did, and they optimized it anyway. So what is the thing in your hand? A product, engineered like a product, optimized against your psychology until it found what worked. and the people who built it got very, very rich. That doesn't make you helpless, but it changes the problem. The problem isn't your character, it's friction, or the engineered absence of it. The app is frictionless by design, so the only interventions that consistently work are the ones that add friction back in. Phone across the room, grayscale mode, charger in the kitchen. Boring, unsexy. They work because they operate on the mechanism, not on your willpower. You can't out-discipline a billion-dollar system built to defeat you, but you can make it slightly harder to reach. And sometimes slightly harder is enough. The 5-hour night isn't a choice you keep making badly. It's a design outcome you've been placed inside of. The scroll was built to win. It usually does, but now you know what it is.